Hey learners, welcome back. In the video series on the chapter Financial Statement of Companies, today we are going to understand how to solve the practical problems related to the classification of assets into current assets or non-current assets. The whole process is divided into two simple steps. Do keep watching the video to understand it, and I definitely hope it would be useful to you. Let's begin with the video. So here is the first question in front of you. Let's read the question. The question says, operating cycle and the expected period of realization of trade receivables is given below. How will you classify the asset? That means what is the sum about? How you are going to understand? See, first you will see that the operating cycle is given to us and the expected period of realization of trade receivables is given. Clear? And we are being asked to classify the asset. That means we have been provided with the operating cycles of different assets. We are being provided with the period of realization of trade receivables. Okay, period of realization means in how much time can it be realized, correct? First, you will notice that over here there are 7 different types of assets are provided. You can see the Roman numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. These are these different assets that are provided to us in question. Okay, now comes the approach of solving. Now in order to solve this type of sums, what I have done is I have made few steps. So let us first understand these steps. Once the steps are clear to you, I hope you will be able to solve all these kinds of sums. So let's quickly get into the steps. See, the following steps should be followed while classifying assets as current or non-current. Okay, so I have mentioned some steps. First one, if the expected period of realization of an asset is within 12 months, then such assets should be treated as current assets. So directly we will be having an approach. The moment we see that the expected period of realization of an asset is either 12 or less than 12, then directly we can classify it as current assets. Okay, we are not going to consider the period of operating cycle over here. So let's check following this criteria only. Let's check. So here are the 7 assets that are provided to us. Let's check the expected period of realization. The first one has 8 months. Second one is having 15 months. Third one is having 11 months. Then the fourth asset is having 15 months. Fifth asset is having 16 months. Then 20 months and 12 months. 8, it is less than 12. So this has automatically qualified to become my current asset. Clear? For asset number 2, if we see, the expected period of realization is 15. Is it less than 12? No. So we are not going to consider this for step 1. We will check again in step number 2. Asset 1 qualified in step 1, so I am going to put a tick over here. Asset 2 does not qualify, so I am not going to put any tick. Let's come to asset 3. Asset 3 has expected period of realization as 11 months. So 11 is less than 12, so this is also being qualified in step 1. Coming to asset number 4. Asset number 4 has expected period of realization as 15 months. So this is also not less than 12. Okay, so this is not qualifying in step number 1. Clear? What are we doing? We are checking all the expected period of realization for all the assets provided, and whichever asset is having expected period of realization either 12 or less than 12, automatically we are classifying them as current assets. Okay, coming to asset number 5. It is 16. So this is also not qualifying because it is more than 12. Asset number 6, 20 months. Again, this is not qualifying because it is more than 12. And for asset number 7, it is 12 months. So this can be qualified. Clear? So what did we see? We saw that in our first step we are able to Pick 3 assets and easily classify them as current assets. Which are the assets which we have classified? We have classified asset number 1, we have classified asset number 3, and we have classified asset number 7. Clear? Let's come back to the steps that I have written. See, this is only written over here. Thus, 1, 3 and 7 are treated as current assets. This is what we got in our analysis part. I hope the first step would be clear to every one of you. Okay. Now, still there are some assets which we could not decide whether they are current assets or whether they are non-current assets, right? So, for such assets, we have to follow step number 2. What is step number 2? Let's have a look, let's understand, and then we'll come back to the sum to apply that knowledge. Step number 2. See, if the expected period of realization of an asset is more than 12 months, okay, in case it is more than 12 months, then the period of operating cycle has to be considered here. Very important. Okay. Now for checking that, we have 2 conditions. What are the conditions? See, condition number 1. If the period of realization of an asset is less than the period of operating cycle. I repeat, if the period of realization of the asset is less than the period of operating cycle, then what will happen? Then such an asset will be treated as current asset. Okay? And in case the period of realization is greater than the operating cycle, then the asset should be treated as non-current assets. Okay, understood? When is these points considered? These points will only come, this step 2 will only come in case the expected period of realization is more than 12 months. Okay, in case it is more than 12 months, then only we are going to apply this step. And what comes in this steps? We are going to see whether the period of realization is less than or more than the period of operating cycle. If it is less than the period of operating cycle, we can classify the asset as current asset. If the period of realization is more than the operating cycle, then we can classify such asset as non-current assets. Clear? Asset number 1, 3 and 7, earlier only we have classified them as current assets. So we are not going to take them into consideration anymore. Straight away we shall come to asset number 2. Asset number 2 has expected period of realization. How much? It has 15 months. Can you all see asset number 2 period of realization? 15 months. So what we are going to do now? 15 months is more than 12 months. So step number 2 will come. And in step number 2 what we have learned? We will check it with the operating cycle. How much is the operating cycle month? It is 17 months. And expected period of realization is 15 months. So what can we conclude? We can conclude that the expected period of realization is less than the operating cycle. Now, as because it is less than the operating cycle months, we can classify the asset as current assets. Understood? This is what we have learned. Let's come back over here. See, the period of realization of an asset less than the period of operating cycle, such assets should be treated as current assets. Okay, let's go back. So I'm putting a tick that this has classified to be a current assets. Done. Let me put marks. Number 3 we have done. Number 3, 1, 3 and 7. These 3 they have already been qualified as current assets. Okay. Now coming to number 4. Number 4 asset has expected period of realization again as 15 months. Okay, no issues. And it has operating cycle as 10 months. So can we say that the expected period of realization is more than the operating cycle months? Yes, right? And as because it is greater than the operating cycle months, we can conclude it to be a non-current asset. Okay, moving to asset number 5. What is asset number 5 showing us? Asset number 5 shows that the expected period of realization is 16 months. No issues. Let it be 16 months. Now we are going to compare it with the operating cycle. The operating cycle months is 14 and expected period of realization is 16. So expected period of realization is more. What can we do? Or what can we conclude? We can conclude that this asset, asset number 5, is actually a non-current asset. Why? Because 16 is greater than 14. That means the expected period of realization is more than the period of operating cycle. Clear? And moving to the last asset that is left for us is asset number 6. What is asset number 6 having? Asset number 6 has expected period of realization as 20 and the operating cycle months is 24. What can we conclude? We can conclude that as the expected period of realization is less than the operating cycle, such asset, that means asset number 6, is classified as current asset. Clear? Let's come down and see what is written. 2 and 6 are treated as current assets. So let's check, did we do accordingly or have we made some mistakes? 2 and 6. So 2, yes, we classified it as current assets, and 6 also we classified as current assets. So because in both 2 and 6, the expected period of realization is less than the operating cycle months. Clear? Let's get down again. And in point number 2, what it is being said, it says that the period of realization of an asset, in case it is more than the period of operating cycle, then such asset should be treated as non-current assets. And we have classified asset number 4 and asset number 5 as, oh, there is a printing mistake, I shall correct it. It is treated as non-current asset. Why non-current asset? Because the period of realization is greater than the period of operating cycle. Let's check in the sum what we have discussed. So for asset number 4 and asset number 5, as we can see, asset number 4 and asset number 5, they both have period of realization more than the period of operating cycle. That is, straight away we classified them as the non-current assets. Clear? Okay, so this is how you need to approach with the sum, okay? So I hope today's topic would be clear to you. I shall meet you in the next video.